All right, we'll call this meeting to order. On the agenda, we have an amendment to update filing for public hearing notice.
Okay, Mr. Chair, I make a motion that we approve the agenda as amended.
Have a motion, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Passes unanimously. Chantel.
Thank you, Chantel Laulu with Indigent Services. The case that we have for you today is case number 2022-0005. This applicant does appear to meet all Idaho Code criteria to be eligible for assistance through the indigent program. However, there's an open case with the Social Security Disability Program as well as the COVID relief funding. The total estimated charge is $37,000. Our recommendation is to place this case in suspension pending the final determination of the possible resources that we've identified.
Mr. Chairman, I move that we place case number 2022-0005 in suspension.
We have a motion, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Passes unanimously. It feels like we're getting off easy today.
Yeah, right.
Thank you.
She's like, I didn't bother to tell you, but you have a full afternoon of executive, you know.
I have some things for you next.
You're up, Kyle.
Oh, she said she had stuff for
Did
next
you hear
week.
that? That was a little mic drop.
As she's running out the door.
I'm out of here. You guys are gonna hate life.
All right, Kyle.
Moving along. Morning, Commissioners. Kyle Burmester, Bannock County Public Works. I'm looking to purchase a mower, a tractor and mower system. It's the one that same style as the one that we demoed. It'll be one that we can angle up and...
One of the big brush mowers?
Yeah, if you kind of looked at some of that, it's got an arm on it. It worked amazingly when we used it last year. We have a lot of places like Pocatello Creek and Rapid Creek and stuff that we get a lot of these real little, more of
Choke cherries
and stuff like that it's just hard to try to chainsaw or to go in and this does a really nice job. It cleans it up real good. Tyson worked really hard on finding a tractor. Apparently you can't get a tractor these days.
No.
Finally found one out there. We were gonna start looking at used and we finally found one that we could get and that they would go with a Sourcewell contract out so that they are going to buy the mower part so they can stick with the Sourcewell bid, and so they'll put the mower on and everything and get it all ready to go. It's a little bit over what we had budgeted for that, which is kind of the norm, I guess, this year. We
can stop that right now.
How much are chainsaws again?
It's actually been working pretty good. Especially with our one water tank and stuff, some of the places we've saved money. We're still working out that we're getting everything to fit in with what we have budgeted. This is $153,000 for the setup. We had originally hoped to get it around $135,000. That's how much it's came up in just when we were demoing it in price, but we still have that money that we saved on the water tank that would cover this added expense. So we'd like to get it ordered before somebody else snags it.
Did you have a chance to look this contract over, Brian?
For the lawnmower?
Yeah, so it's the tractor and
the
mower.
tractor. Oh, sorry, I was.
It's a lawnmower.
I was reading a notice from New York to us, but so sorry. Yeah, for the tractor.
Yeah. So this is like I say, it's a Sourcewell contract. We're using it.
Yeah, I know everything you sent through. We looked over.
And it's a full purchase, not a lease.
Yeah, purchase.
Mr. Chairman, I move that we approve the purchase from Public Works seeking a tractor and mower as indicated.
Have a motion, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Passes unanimously.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you.
Thanks, Kyle.
You guys are moving.
Go,
Always.
go get some stuff mowed.
Okay, we'll get that mower coming, thank you.
When do you mow it? Do you mow it in the spring or the fall, or when do you do it?
We try to do it spring and fall. So we're hoping that in these kind of days where the seasons, that we can do a lot of this kind of stuff.
You can do it in the wintertime, can't you? So if
Yeah.
you're the guys that aren't pushing snow, they could go,
Exactly, that's what we're gonna do.
I like your thinking.
Did you see the results of the ones they
I didn't.
demoed last year?
Uh-uh.
Yep.
It
Up
can
past the
cut
cemetery,
to a
up Rapid Creek.
4-inch. It's amazing what.
Well, I'll have to drive up there again.
Yeah, when we get it running, I'll let you guys know because it's pretty neat. It'll cut a nice straight line and at first, it takes the leaves and stuff, but when it kind of grows, it's like a manicured.
Wow, you guys aren't road and bridge guys. You're artistes.
Yeah, we'll start practicing.
Let me clarify this. It looks like crap when they first do it.
That's why I was
broken up.
It gets better.
They've had a lawnmower go across the front of them. And then the leaves grow back and it's not bad.
Yeah, but if you were trying to do that with something besides a piece of machinery, it
It'd take forever.
so.
Yeah. Cool. Thank you.
Thanks, Kyle.
Dave hasn't arrived yet. He was going to come, correct? Or
He may or may not be here.
When I talked to Janelle, I thought, because this had already been approved, and on her request, she just said signature only. I'm not sure if he's,
They had court cases and they were going to try and be here, but I was not expecting him today.
Okay. And have you had a chance to look over this lease?
Yeah.
Okay.
Mr. Chairman, I move that we approve the public defender's lease for office space for the Sterling Building as presented.
Have a motion, all in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Passes unanimously.
that one is something we're gonna have to probably budget a portion of for next year, because I'm not sure if the grant will cover it, so we'll have to.
We'll
We
always
have to
have,
get rid of some employees. They're all based on the grant covering.
That's true.
just saying.
You better get creative.
Christie's breathing hard. Hey,
Yeah,
you're,
just letting you know.
hey, if the state decides to cut the grant, man.
That's not my deal.
Just throwing it out there.
Yeah.
Well, thank you.
Well played.
Lets us all prepare for it. All right, Braden.
All right, Braden Clayson, Chief of Staff. Really small one, I think, for you guys today, but we are just trying to, after speaking with Christie on an email chain, trying to figure out or seek clarification on what, where we would like the funding for the HR Suite 107, their temporary new home. I just wanted to figure out, so we had it officially recognized which line item we were going to put that under, or where we wanted to get the funds to pay for the temporary
We
updates.
also need a budget amount.
Yeah.
Yeah, and a budget amount, yeah.
Did Dan give us a budget amount?
Not yet. He, in fact, when I talked to him yesterday, he was talking about
Carpet,
carpet.
yeah, so I don't think that's
And
final,
so-
but we're close
But
on
we
that.
have carpet.
And we have
It
two
would
pallets
It
sitting
would
there.
just be somebody to install that carpet.
Yeah.
Well, some of those offices, that was kind of the point of the discussion, is talking with Dan, is there's some of those offices that the carpet's torn, and it's kind of an oxymoron of having the safety, if the office is supposed to have safety, where they have a torn rip, are you gonna paint that carpet yellow for high visibility reasons to mitigate the rip? I mean, and really what we need to do is, anytime we move an office, doesn't matter whose office, anytime we can clear that out and go in and just the basic, if we can go to the LED lights, if we have them, paint the walls, make sure the carpet is good and safe. Ceiling tiles, so they're not because some of them are still the old school nicotine impregnated tiles from the 70s.
So he hasn't actually given us a
We haven't gotten an official
Bid.
budget from them, no, or a
but-
bid.
but
Do we have a guesstimate?
it looked like it was gonna be under $1,000.
Yeah.
I think he's, last I checked, he said probably for sure under 2,500, but he's like, I think he'd probably do it for 15 or so. so.
Okay. Okay.
If the one thing would be labor cost of carpet, whether they are gonna do it themselves or if they have someone else do it.
Well, he talked about sorry, Ernie, I didn't mean to cut you off. He talked about doing just the front room with the carpet, where all the traction and the holes and the rips and all that stuff
Yeah.
were. Just that main office or the main suite as you enter the office. not necessarily the individual offices, unless we want him to do those. I think that would probably be more.
In the HR line item under the commissioner's budget, there is, I left my budget book downstairs, I apologize.
I did
I
too.
thought there was a line item that we had for some money set aside in there, and there's also,
When we had talked about capital expenditures or allocations.
Yeah.
The capital acquisition
capital
trust.
acquisition trust.
We just, because other departments need to go through the formal process of
Yeah.
you guys approving a budget and also the funding source, that was just the
Well, we
email
got it on.
chain
Well,
we went through.
and this is
talked
the other
about.
thing too, is they started moving court services. Court services started indicating moving
Yeah.
them. So if court services, do we want to bring that out of part of their budget? Do we want to put it out of the capital budget for the building? Do we want to?
Now, is this
Honestly-
change going to be permanent?
Temporary.
That one's
Temporary.
temporary too?
Which one, court services?
Yeah.
That's the meeting we had this afternoon,
Yeah.
that we're gonna talk more about them. We walked, and I don't wanna get into all of it, but we walked over yesterday and looked at where public defense was. There's a lot of things going on. Tara went over there with Carrie to have some discussion. So in our meeting this afternoon,
Yeah,
there's a lot of things happening right now. And my old adage, we're not gonna pave the road and then dig it up. I wanna have these conversations, and, because there's a lot of people coming out of the woodwork and say, oh, well, I want this and I want that. And we want to have them conversations, but we're not just giving a piece of building over to somebody and letting them go wild either.
And my question was more just, from the financial side, how much money are we putting in that we're then going to shift and move again?
Yeah.
So I was just trying to think longer term on the money side.
And that's, I don't know, and I think that that's part of our discussion more this
Well,
afternoon.
and that is
as
part,
we-
you know, that part of that discussion with like this office over here, I wasn't planning on doing the tiles and the lights and all that, but it had never been done. And so that's
So
one of those
most
things
it while you can.
that's when Dan and those guys have been trying to do it, is offices get moved out. And so I don't know if you put that in just the maintenance, because they've already bought the lights. So, and if it's a carpet thing, because remember ISU had all that
Yeah.
bulk carpet,
Yeah.
and they ended up getting it like 75 cents on the foot or whatever it was. And regularly it's like $12 or something like that.
So probably for this, if you want to allot like up to $2,500.
Yeah.
I don't see the line you were talking about in.
I thought there was a commissioner's line item that we had for commissioner's office stuff in ours, or did we do away with that?
I think
thought
we
there
did
was a
away with that.
commissioner's.
I think we
okay.
did away with
I
that.
thought there
I
was
don't
just
see it in here.
there was like, I know there's like an office furniture line item, but I thought there was like just a
Yeah,
repair
I-
line item for the building. We might have moved that all over into the maintenance line item.
Let me look in county operations, because I'm looking in your commission budget, there's nothing in there.
Yeah, it might have went over to
But maybe county operations.
or maybe I'm just hallucinating, and
We used to have it, but I'm not seeing it now.
Okay. because I was going to say something
I
like
would
that we could help with
Say
HR.
let's just do
Capital
capital acquisitions,
acquisitions.
if you want to give us a budget amount, and then we can
Okay.
track it, and make sure not to
Maximum
exceed.
Yeah, $2,500.
Point,
Okay.
motion.
Mr. Chairman, I move that we authorize capital acquisition funds $2,500 for minor repairs to the HR suite and to family court services. There you go.
Have a motion, all in favor say aye.
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 You're done. They're standing right there. How much was it gonna cost?
Well, we spent, $400 on this one, a couple $100 downstairs.
Oh,
Just some building repairs. I want to replace the door just because it's a Dutch door. We don't need a Dutch door anymore. It doesn't shut, right? So,
We just approved 2,500,
perfect.
up to 2,500.
Okay.
And it'll be capital acquisitions. Brady knows that, so he'll let Christie know.
Yeah, sorry we're late.
so, no, you're good. We were early.
Okay. Okay, carpet's coming today.
Oh, cool,
Toilets are coming today.
cool.
Oh, yes.
Thanks, guys.
Thank you.
Go forth and do great things.
Thank you.
We'll have more than one.
Oh, no, they'll have all of them.
We're gonna have more than one
They're
bathroom.
gonna have a majority of them done.
It's an exciting day.
Well, no, I mean, actually, to get those projects done in-house, that's been
It's huge.
wow, we actually have bathrooms that meet ADA compliancy after, 55 years.
All right. Looks like the next one on the agenda is, Braden, are you gonna take this?
Yeah, thank you. So we've got the Christmas gift of 4 hours paid time off that you guys had wanted to spread to the county employees. We wrote up a memo and got approval on this. Christie, I think you get okay this as well, the memo, right? So we're just wanting to circulate this to the employees and get it out as quickly as possible.
Mr. Chairman, I move we approve the memo as presented.
We have a motion, all in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Passes unanimously.
Thank you.
Next, we have a request for proposal. Request for RFP on the Historical Museum.
Oh, for the roof?
Yes.
That's right, we're ready to send that out.
Yeah, we talked about it last
Yeah.
Thursday.
Yeah. Mr. Chair, I make a motion that we authorize signature on the RFP for the museum.
We have a motion, all in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Passes unanimously. Next, we have the letters of cancellation and the letters of cancellation for the homeowner for House Bill 389.
Real quick, I wanted to bring to your attention on the homeowner's exemption for the House Bill 389. We're going to have to monitor that pretty closely because that will impact taxing districts and could create some budgetary shortfalls
Yes.
on property tax requests. So I'll get with Anita. She printed this out, but what I would like to see is, I'll ask her if she can send it to me in Excel so that I can do it by code area, because I don't know how to read the parcels well enough to know if it's in Pokey, Chubbuck, or so on, so that I can see the impact. Because if you look at the 112,000, the other thing I want to do is break it out by district so that we'll know how much the county's going to be short, how much the school's going to be short, and at what point we need to start sending a letter to notify those districts.
Well, I'd like to, thank you. We talked about this last Wednesday over in Silver Springs a little bit. Every county's facing the same concerns. But I'd like to send out a warning letter, just to let
them
you know, this is happening. You guys need to talk to the legislature yourselves in your own districts, taxing districts, and let them know that how this affects people.
Do you want that letter from the commissioner's office or from the clerk or the assessor?
Not the clerk.
Or not the clerk, but yeah, the assessor, sorry.
No, I think that if we get the information, we could send it out of our office.
What about, because it's probably more going to, the bigger impact is probably going to be on the school, Pokey, Chubbuck, maybe a library district, or Portland Library. Do you think if we sent a letter, they'll I mean, I think the mayors are going to understand it. Would it be beneficial maybe to have a quick meeting to discuss the impact, how they want us to notify them, stress upon them, get a hold of your legislators? Or do you think a letter would be, I just sometimes dialogue back and forth might help.
I'd like to send out a letter to start with, then we have a hard copy.
Okay.
Everybody was sent the same things,
Okay.
and then have them contact us
If they've got questions.
if they have questions.
I was wondering, the treasurer, not the clerk, excuse me, where should that letter come from? The commissioners, the assessor, or the treasurer?
It's really, I don't know. Maybe we just send it from Bannock County and not necessarily pinpoint any one elected official, because it's kind of an overall, you guys cancel it upon request of either the treasurer or the assessor. They're not going to get the money from the clerk, but maybe we just send it from Bannock County. And then tell them if they've got questions, they can contact whomever.
Well, I think that the four offices we need to meet.
I
And
just think.
send it from the commissioner,
I
so
just
they
send-
have
I think just
that
send it from the
office to
commissioner.
call and say,
I don't think it, yeah, I would think either Jen or the commissioners.
So we'll get the assessor's office and treasurer.
Or all of you together, or all of us together. I mean, it doesn't matter to me.
Yeah.
It's been brought to our attention,
Well,
and
like
just
like
making
you
it
said,
informed.
all of us have our fingers in it, so maybe just from the commission for the whole one.
And I just, if they have questions, I'd like them to come to one source instead of four sources and
Yeah.
hear the exact same thing each time.
And then we can track, I don't know, the positive is, and I need to double check, but I don't think we took much into account for sub-roll. So that means any sub-roll over what we anticipated will be extra money that they didn't plan on. Same thing with occupancy. We never anticipate how much we're going to get there, so that usually gives us a positive to offset these negatives. I'm just afraid that this is going to be a lot of negatives.
This is-
yeah.
But we will be getting the sub-roll and occupancy in January, February, so we'll have a better idea of the dollar impact if one outweighs the other.
What was Sherry talking about last week, like 5 million coming off the roll or something like that?
So
That
that's total
Value.
assessed value,
Right.
not taxes.
Right,
Taxes,
the value.
taxes.
But I thought it was
Well-
140,
Yeah,
150
it's right around
tax-wise.
Yeah.
This is, so I printed this one out that Anita has in for this.
Uh-huh.
And the exemption amount is 7.6 million.
Okay, that's what I was.
Taxable value.
Taxable, yeah. Well,
But not
exemption
tax.
amount, yeah.
but not in tax
No,
dollars.
tax dollars, but the letter of
112.
cancellation is 112,000.
Yeah.
Yeah. Which isn't huge when you spread it around everybody, but like City of Pocatello and the county, or not City of Pocatello, School District and the county are gonna get hit with this full amount. But depending on what's in Pocatello, what's in Chubbuck, they won't have as much. So anyways, I'll dive down into the dollars a little bit more.
I just want all the
Get the numbers
entities
put together.
to be involved in talking to the legislature.
Yes.
And letting them know, this affects everybody.
And if we have the dollar impact,
Well,
that's gonna hit a little bit closer when they talk, because you can talk actual numbers and you can say, we're gonna have a shortfall of, maybe $50,000 in property tax dollars that we didn't anticipate losing. How do you anticipate that when you set the budget? So it might contradict what they did in House Bill 389 of now you're gonna over budget
Yep.
so that you can anticipate non-collections. Is that where you're
So
going?
Senator Guthrie said he would like, not just, and he said, I appreciate everybody voicing their concerns, but give us how to fix it. And we need how to fix it. And if we have, this is how we fix it, then we take it to, and Jim will carry it. I've already talked to Jim about it, and he'll set it through the legislative office, and they'll actually write the bill to fix, to make the correction.
There's gotta be the deadline.
Yep.
And you did-
You just can't go all year.
No,
Yeah.
and that's the whole thing is we've got to get them a fix. I talked with Senator Guthrie, Senator Harris, and a couple other individuals, and all of them have said, okay, we hear what's going on. Down at that meeting Wednesday, that was a good, give us what do we need to do to fix this, and they will push to try and get it fixed.
Repeal it.
Well, repeal it would be the big one,
The whole thing.
Yeah.
That would be the easy thing.
yeah. But, well, repeal might be but
It's a swing and miss.
it's
Sorry, guys.
either a repeal or is there any way to fix it? And if there's no way to fix it, then no, repeal is what you have to do.
Repeal it and then do something that actually works.
Yep,
Get rid of the stupid hypo levy, get rid of,
yep.
and then go back to you can only increase this, and this. Yeah. They keep pieces and parts, but, okay. So, when you have that meeting, I'll hopefully have some numbers,
Okay.
to help.
Let Braden know when you have the numbers, and then he'll set up the meeting, okay?
I think Anita's out all
She's out.
week for training.
Basically, all
Think so,
week.
So it'd be easier if she just sent me her spreadsheet so I can not reinvent it.
Okay.
So
But
if she can get that to me by the end of the week, hopefully I can have it by
It's-
mid next week.
It's gonna be the 1st of December. I mean, next week's Thanksgiving.
Right.
So, and then we got the tax meeting in Boise
Well,
the
then we can,
following week, and
we
so.
can anticipate the first weekend, or the first part of December then.
That's
And I'll
what
have
I'd
it ready by then.
say. Cool.
Thank you.
Okay. So, last week when we talked about these, I had questions. One on this Olympus Heights Owners Association being non-taxed. And when I talked to Anita, she says that that's actually divided up in the homeowners. And so it is taxed, it was just, the way it come out here, it looked to me like it wasn't, so I didn't want to sign it last week.
Oh, and then the other one that I have is they have indicated that there's a tribal exemption, and as we are a Dillon's rule state, the county is only authorized to give exemptions as is indicated by law. There is no such thing as a tribal exemption. Under Idaho Code 63602A, which is for government exemptions, it is only for property that is solely owned by the tribe. Not, and the tribes as described, it would be the Fort Hall, or the Shoshone-Bannock tribe at Fort Hall. So if this property was bought by somebody else and the money was given to the seller would be the individual that's indicated here. It is not to the tribe. So therefore, this is not a valid exemption, and it would be an error of the Board of County Commissioners to grant this exemption. So I've asked for these to be cleaned up, and apparently there's a whole list of them. And so this is something that needs to be corrected. If it's fee ground, if it's deeded type lease ground within the borders of the reservation, it doesn't matter who owns it then. Unless it's the tribe, unless it is the prescribed tribe that is indicated by the state, there is no way to give a tax exemption.
So on this, we can okay the ones except for the tribal one.
Yeah, I believe that they indicated, they gave another one in the packet. There is one that does not have the tribal one is indicated.
There's
There's there two of them.
no, one,
Okay.
one is
Oh, okay,
2021,
to
one is
2022.
2022.
So we can stricken it from the roll, and Mr. Chairman, I would ask by the chairman's privilege to strike parcel number MHMH033001100 from the roll, and that would be the chairman's prerogative to do so.
Okay.
So you may strike that.
I will strike that. And
Mr. Chairman, I would move to approve the remainder of the indicated properties for tax exemption as indicated.
we have a motion, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Passes unanimously.
I would also ask, Mr. Chairman, that we have a list compiled by the assessor's office of the so-called tribal exemptions, which is a invalid exemption that does not exist, and this should not be given. This is an error, and this is something that I believe is not authorized by state law.
We can ask them for that, no problem. Legal counsel, you're gonna be in the middle of all this.
Yeah, and
Sorry.
I'll do some research on this specific issue.
I know that the office across the street is dead set against doing anything with that. But
Unfortunately, it's not their purview to do that.
I think that we need legal counsel's direction,
Okay.
okay? All right. Next, we have the amendment of the two public hearings. We still have time to get them in the paper.
Mr. Chairman, I move that we approve the public hearing notices as presented.
We have a motion, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Passes unanimously. All right, in the consent agenda, we have certificates of residency, salary rate approval forms. Get somebody hired, huh?
Yes, that's Monday.
Yay. And we
I
have
keep using this pen. It works like half the time, and then all of a sudden it
minutes
dies.
for November 4th, November 9th.
Mr. Chairman, I move that we present, or approve the consent agenda as presented.
Motion, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye. With that being said, we'll be at recess till 11 o'clock for the public hearing.
Do you have 5 minutes, Chris?